Hey, it's Chris Aiken from the Classic Metal Show. Most people know me as the foul-mouthed shock jock from the Classic Metal Show, or the no-nonsense heavy metal critic from pitriff.com. Now you get to learn the other side. My first book, Little Victories, A Tale of Divorce, Debauchery, and Finding Happiness, comes out on January 13th in paperback and digital formats on Amazon and iTunes. It details my real-world emotional struggles over a year that included a divorce after a quarter-century of marriage and the death of my father. It profiles things I did right, as well as a bevy of things that I did wrong with the help of alcohol, and how I found my way out of the muck of the emotional state that almost saw me commit suicide. Pre-order your copy of Little Victories, A Tale of Divorce, Debauchery, and Finding Happiness today at www.chrisaikenbooks.com and get in touch with the more fallible side of me, Chris Aiken. Sounds happy, huh?
From their self-titled debut release, that's Junkyard with Hands Off. Hands off my door, bitch.
It's good, huh?
You know what? I think one of the biggest satisfactions that I have with doing this show is when we pull out something that's obscure.
Okay.
And people want to know, what is this? Who is this?
Right.
You know, because especially with a lot of the stuff, sometimes when we play a lot of stuff, it's like pretty old. It's like 20, 25 years old.
Sure.
And people want to know, what is that?
Yeah, they just missed it.
Yeah, it's just like, somehow I missed this. You know, it's good stuff.
Man, that Junkyard, that first album, that album is, and really all the Junkyard albums were good, but that first one is killer.
Yeah, and it's just the fact that it just came out, the timing was wrong.
Yeah, they were a little bit too dirty, because they came out in 89, I believe.
Yeah, so they were coming in at the very end of the, you know, the what do you want to call it, the hair band era, whatever you want to call it.
But they were in the hard glam era, too.
Sure.
It did not fit. You know, they just didn't fit that era. They were not Poison. They were not what was that, Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yeah, they weren't the glammy.
No, and that was what was huge at that moment. And they just missed because they were just like a dirty rock band.
Well, they were like the Four Horsemen.
Yeah, Four Horsemen was another one.
Yeah, I remember hearing the Four Horsemen the first time, and I thought, man, these guys kick ass, you know. And then of course it was too little, too late.
Yeah, say Raging Slab.
Yeah, that was another one.
You know, they were a little bit too raw for the hair metal era.
Sure,
good stuff though.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's just so much good stuff out there, and I like the fact that there are services like Spotify out there.
Sure,
that offer, you know, a lot of the stuff that you couldn't hear before.
You know, I looked today though. There's no Steel Piston on Spotify.
Yeah, well, you know, that's, you know, it didn't get a major debut release, so I don't think you're going to find it on there.
But it's Steel Piston.
Yeah, I know.
Would you think that Steel Piston is more or less popular now than when you guys were out?
Probably more because it's just, you know, you value stuff that just isn't available.
Yeah.
So when you can find it, you know, after it's not been available for a long time. Well, I'm going to compare it to another band that, you know, that I personally feel or believe that we raised the profile of, as our good friend Nader Priest in London.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I single-handedly believe that the resurgence of London was 100% due to the Classic Metal Show.
I believe that. I definitely believe that.
So, you know, I love our friend Nader to death, and I really enjoy, you know, the fact he's a fantastic performer, great singer, and you know, he's just one of those guys who just, you know, missed it, you know?
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Sure.
But he's out there doing it today, and I'm glad they've, you know, been able to resurrect a version of the band and are out there playing.
Definitely, man.
So,
dude, look at this in the chat room. Tell us about the band, Neeley. About Steel Piston.
Oh, you want to hear about Steel Piston?
That's what Brian, I guess that's who hit me up during the week.
Yeah, isn't he the one who discovered the Dokken Back for the Attack too?
He is. Now he wants to discover some Steel Piston.
Well, by the way, Brian, I sent your post directly to Don, and he thought it was very cool. And basically his message is all I can say is thank you for the sport. That's basically it. So Don is aware of your post that you made on the Facebook this week.
Yeah.
So I copied and pasted, sent it to him. Said, hey, here's a fan who discovered Back for the Attack and is enjoying it.
Yeah, man. A little late on the trigger, but at least he found it.
Yeah, he did. But so because of that, I too played Back for the Attack last night in its entirety.
Yeah. I've been listening to it. I listened to it a lot when I was putting the site together. That was probably my go-to.
Well, I have it on the iPod, and I have one of those Bose iPod docks.
Right.
So when I got home last night, I cranked that up and I listened to it in its entirety, and I was just like, yeah, that's a 60-minute record.
That's a solid. It was one of the first 60-minute records too, wasn't it?
Yeah, one of the very few that ran an hour.
Yeah.
So I listened to it last night, and I was just like, yeah, that kicks ass. And of course, I have a personal affection for that CD because I have that tattoo, that cross tattoo that has that lyric from Lost Behind the Wall with "It's better to die than to live without hope."
Right. That's such a good song.
Yeah, it is a good song.
Favorite song on the disc.
Yeah, I love that song. It's very dark and catchy, and just that's my favorite. Definitely my favorite song on that CD.
Sure.
So, but yeah, to Brian, Don is aware of your post, so I sent it to him, and he was grateful, I guess.
So you want me to play a little bit of the Delta or the whatchamacallit, the Steel Piston?
Well, I can play it.
You got it there?
Oh, yeah, I got it.
I know half the time you don't even know where your own music is. You're like Don.
No, I got it.
Okay.
Believe it or not. I will play a little bit of Steel Piston.
This was that Down in the Dirt record, right?
Right. So anyway, yeah, Steel Piston, my band from the L.A. strip days, from the Hollywood strip days when everybody was trying to make it.
Well, since we're talking about like Junkyard Raging Slab, did you ever play with those? Because that's where your band, I mean, I'm familiar with the record. Did you guys ever play gigs with like Junkyard or?
No, I mean, we basically were always packaged on a lot of the band bills, like at the Roxy and at the Whiskey and at the Troubadour and, places like that.
Right.
So, we didn't get quite the recognition we had hoped.
That's cool.
So, but regardless, well, let me play this one.
All right, go ahead.
Let's play this one. This one is from 1989. I'll play a little bit of this. Some of you might dig the style, but we were trying to do something a little bit different than the glammy hairband stuff. Mm-hmm. We were more influenced by the 70s classic rock, like, Lynyrd Skynyrd and things like that.
Right. And your singer died, didn't he? Or killed himself?
Yeah. Yeah.
That sucks.
So being that I was the drummer in the band, I hung up my drumsticks after this.
money for a brand new truck. She got a rabbit's foot and a pocket full of luck. She got a jeans crease tight. She got a hair combed back. She got a cool down pat. I like it like that. The girl's gone western. Girl's gone western. Girl's gone western. It's the western way.
As you can see, you can kind of hear a little bit of that Cinderella influence in there.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know, Cinderella kind of made it big with the Long Cold Winter.
Right.
And then one of the bands, because of Michael Hannon, you know, who's a friend of the Classic Metal Show, Salty Dog,
Yeah.
was trying to make it at that same time, you know. So we were kind of in that same era.
But you guys were trying to break ground too, dude. I mean, you guys were, even before like Anthrax, you were doing like kind of the rap thing, or at least your singer was, with that Rock and Roll Women song.
Yeah, a little bit.
That was kind of cool.
You know, it was just a little experimental. I mean, there wasn't really a real solid direction with us. We were just trying to find our feet, as it were. And
But you talk about it like it wasn't like a big deal, dude.
Well,
I mean,
well,
we were showcasing for MCA, right?
yeah, but we were trying to do something, and unfortunately, it wasn't successful. I mean, the music business, it's tough, and I can't even begin to, articulate the heartbreak of not being able to make. I mean, the only thing that I can compare to,
Yeah.
is if you watch the decline of Western civilization and the way that the band Odin was talking, that, oh, anytime, dude, anytime, we're going to get signed anytime.
Right.
You know, that's the way we were.
Oh, you guys like literally believed
Yeah,
that?
yeah. We were just like waiting for that contract to come, you know, and, you know, our agent was telling us, you know, oh, dude, it's just a matter of days. It's just a matter of days. But those days turned into weeks, and those weeks turned into months. And it's like, what's going on? And, oh, man, they're just on the bubble of ready to sign this and, you know, launch out there. And, you know, it's just
Did they feed you that line that they do too, is, oh, that sound is going to be the next big thing?
No, we never got that, but we did get the whole, you know, we got plans for you. We got big plans for you.
Right.
You know, and you're going to be, you know, you're going to be the, what was the word that they used? You're going to be the,
poster child or something?
No, not the poster child, the flagship for our label.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you're going to be the flagship. Everybody's going to want to copy you, dude. Everything's, you know, you're going to be the premier band. You know, and I remember another one, Janie Lane of Warrant.
Yeah.
He was talking about when Warrant was promoting Dog Eat Dog, which was kind of a big departure from the first two records of Warrant. And he said that, you know, the record label was all behind Warrant, and Dog Eat Dog came out. And
Right.
he said he walked into the record label office, and where there used to be the Warrant Dog Eat Dog poster,
Mhm.
there was Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
And he said that was like the death knell, you know.
Right.
And that's kind of how I felt, you know, because we were, you know, right on the cusp, and promised and promised and promised, and then it just never materialized.
Yeah. Dude, play a little bit of Rock and Roll Women. Let people hear that other side.
All right. Our singer, and I got to credit our singer.
Yeah.
He had this vision, and we just sort of like, we just went along with it, because it was just like, okay, you know, what could it hurt? Let's just try something different.
Right.
So this is what we tried.
Rock and roll women.
You know, my drumming wasn't exactly groundbreaking.
Sounds good there.
But it was solid. You know, it wasn't unique or in any way, but it was just a solid drum pattern.
Well, I mean, but it fit what you were doing.
Right, exactly.
My name is R.T. Scott and I'm a cool Mo-D. When I don't come around, they say, where do he be? I'm cruising to town on my shiny motorcycle. Say, what's in your pocket? A big deal, pickle! They party all day and they party all night. Long as they are rocking, everything is all right. Rock and roll women.
Now, what inspired our singer to go this direction is when the Beastie Boys launched with
License to Ill.
License to Ill, and it was just like, this is the next trend that's coming down the pike. You know, and we need to seem relevant, so this is what we should try.
Now, back in those days, were you like that to where because I know now you hate trends. I mean, were you willing to try different trend shit then or no?
But when you're only 20, you know, when you're only 25 years old, 24 years old, and you honestly believe you have a shot at it,
right?
It's less about what you really feel or believe in or what you really like to where, hey, everybody's telling you, you know what, you guys are going to break. You guys are going to break. And it's like, okay, I'll stick with this regardless of my personal taste.
Right.
Because it was a group effort with the band.
Okay.
And it wasn't like I wasn't like the guy who called all the shots. I mean, we tried to make it a democracy within the band. Everybody had a say.
Right. When this rap thing was thrown up there, did you I gotta think that you were like, fuck
yeah,
no.
I wasn't digging it, but everybody kept saying that this was the way it was going to go. So it was either give it up or, you know, if you can't beat them, join them. That was kind of the attitude.
Right.
Sure. Hail and Kill Caller, you're on the air.
Neeley, I guess a quick question would be, why did you decide to stop drumming after all of that?
Well, you know, it got to be into the 90s, and the whole Nirvana grunge thing kicked in, and I was just like, where do I go from here? Because I wasn't digging the new direction, and it wasn't like something that I was going to pursue. And, you know, the writing was on the wall. You know, everybody was just like, this is what we're doing now. You know, this is the direction of the music, and I wasn't feeling it. I was tired of following the trends, and I just knew it just wasn't going to come to fruition. I was heading in toward my 30s already, and I was just like, what's left in it for me? So
I guess I can see.
You know, so it wasn't an easy decision. We were all, you know, kind of like deflated, I guess is the word, because we thought that, you know, we had a shot. But then as time went by, I mean, we played the Sunset Strip for, you know, close to 6 years, and then the music trends started changing, and then everybody started losing interest, and it was just like, well, what do you do from here? Either you join them or you just quit. And so I just quit.
I guess I see. I was just kind of curious because you guys had mentioned Steel Piston in some old archive clip when I heard it on the feed burner, and I was just like, holy crap, he didn't go into detail here at all, which I guess you kind of seemed like you didn't want to talk about it.
Well, you know, the thing is everybody had their hopes up, and when you're in your mid-20s and you're thinking, man, you know, the door's going to open up and you're going to taste that success, and you just work your ass off, and then all of a sudden things that are outside of your control. I mean, obviously we could perform the best we could every night that we played, but if people aren't showing up and the record labels aren't supporting you and the club owners aren't supporting you and whatever, it goes back to that old saying, well, we'll play until nobody starts coming to the show anymore. And that's unfortunately what happened. People stopped coming to the show. It's not because I don't believe that we sucked. It's just that people are finicky, and they go with whatever trend is popular. And so it was just like, okay, why are we doing this? And you got to pay the bills somehow.
Oh, absolutely.
So, either you live in your car and you hope that dream will come true, or you just wake up to reality and say, you know what, this isn't going to happen. It's time to move on.
Okay, I see. I asked Chris a little bit about it. We didn't really go anywhere with it. So I figured, well, screw it. I have the night off. I figured I may as well call in and ask you directly.
Sure. Well, that's how it works, man. When you're 28 years old, 29 years old, and you're going, how am I going to pay the bills? You go, this isn't happening. What are you going to do? You just got to say, all right, I gave it my best shot. It's just time to wake up, face reality, and go get a day job.
Oh, no, I get it, dude. I do the same thing. I mean, I have a band and I do my own shit, yeah, but I don't really play shows anymore because I work 40 hours.
See, there you go. Got to pay the bills. Got to pay the mortgage. Got to take care of the wife and kids if you have any, whatever the case may be.
The rent is what I do, yeah. I get it. It's just, I don't know, maybe you're the same way. It's always interesting to hear of, why did it end,
Well, because the trend changed. I mean, this was 1989, mind you, so we were only 24 months away from, Alice in Chains and Soundgarden and Nirvana and, Pearl Jam taking over, which is what happened. And our style, our trend was out of style now, and it was over.
Right.
It's the end of it. So
I got you. Well, may I ask one last question?
Sure. Go right ahead.
Is there a possible chance if I hit you up, could I by chance get any of those songs? I'd love to hear your band.
Sure. Just send a request to request at theclassicmetalshow.com.
All right. Well, thank you, Neeley, and also I guess thanks for sending Don Dokken that post as well. I really did love Back for the Attack. I was kind of like, where the fuck has this been my whole life?
Well, listen, I put it on the iPod last night, and I listened to it its entirety because I read that myself, and I was just like, you know what? I haven't visited this in a while, so I'm going to listen to the whole thing back to back.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I don't know, I know it's old, I get that, like 87 or something, but it blew me away, dude.
Yeah, well, my favorite, believe it or not, is Dysfunctional, though. That's my favorite Dokken record. I mean, it wasn't the million seller, but it's my favorite. Okay,
well, I'll dive into that one next. They're all on Spotify, so I've just been loading up one track and going through all of them.
Sure, but give it a listen. Probably the lesser of two evils on that CD is one of my favorites. That's one I go to all the time. All
right, well, we'll do, Neeley. Dude, thanks for answering my question.
Sure, man. Anytime.
I'll stop blabbing now.
Sure, anytime.
Thanks, dude. And all right, bye-bye, guys.
Hail and kill. Now look at you're opening up a bunch of old sores for me, Chris. Thanks.
Sorry. Hey, you should be proud of that time. You should want to talk about that time.
Yeah, maybe it'll be part of the book.
Yeah, there you go.
Part of the book.
Somehow I'm thinking that's not going to be part of the book, but you have so many other better stories than Steel Piston.
Sure.
As someone that knows most of your stories, I'm thinking that's not going to be part of your book.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. So there you go.
There it is.
So if if you can relate to License to Ill and the Beastie Boys, and of course Run DMC collaborating with Aerosmith, we were basically just jumping that trend and trying to capitalize on that just a little bit.
Sure.
And it just didn't. I
don't know. I like the album personally.
Yeah.
I listened to it a lot because I sort of needed to know it. But I mean, you have like that real slow groove tune, that Used Tires tune.
Yeah.
That's a fucking bad tune too, man.
Right.
And that's a totally different vibe altogether.
Sure.
I like the album. I think it was good. I can't. Now, who owns the rights? Do you own the rights, or does somebody else own the rights?
You know what? I think Universal snapped that up. There was like a bunch of buyouts that Universal Music bought out.
Okay.
So I think Universal owns it.
And just refused to put it out?
Basically, yeah.
Dicks.
Hail and kill, caller. You're on the air.
I've only ever heard the two Steel Piston songs that you just played, Rock and Roll Women and She's Gone Western.
Right.
And just being a fan, just a fan of music and an observer, I think the weak link was probably the singer, even though he had the ideas. as a singer, he was just kind of average.
Right. Well, again, we weren't great. We were just like the rest of the bands, just trying to make it.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, too, Doghouse, and I'm not trying to justify the singer. I agree. I think the singer was probably the weakest part of the band. But you got to remember, too, that this was right on the cusp of when it all changed from big soaring vocals to, to Kurt Cobain. So,
sure. Well, I mean, when was that stuff recorded? Are we talking 87 maybe?
89.
89, okay. I was thinking it was a little bit earlier.
Nope.
But, the rap experiment, he raps like a white guy, honestly.
Well, again, we were experimenting, trying to capitalize on the whole Beastie Boys thing,
Sure. And that, especially She's Gone Western, reminds me of is Nevada Beach.
Boy,
Nevada Beach, wow.
Yeah, I don't know that one at all.
Don't know that one either.
You never heard, neither one of you never heard of Nevada Beach. I almost said Nirvana Beach.
No, send us some.
Wow. Wow. I stumped, it's better than Stump the Trunk.
Yeah, it's better. Much better.
Well, they were from Jersey, I think, and they played Southern rock as kind of a AC/DC, prettied up for the hair metal age, and with a Southern swagger that only guys from Jersey can do.
Sure.
Nice.
And, they were just small fish in a big pond.
Yep.
And you'd be forgiven for never having heard of them before, but they kind of had a similar sound.
Send us some, man. Send us a song.
I think the one that got played on Headbangers Ball, maybe twice, was called Waiting for an Angel.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, no kidding.
I think we already went over that topic. But Neeley, just from stuff I've read, I think you may have lucked out by not being on MCA, because it seems like every band that was on MCA basically said the label fucked them over and didn't know how to promote hard rock because they were more of a pop label.
Yeah, just ask Leonard Skinner.
Well, aside from Leonard Skinner.
Hey, you got to grab it while you can, and just unfortunately we didn't grab a handful.
It's like we could fill up an Olympic-sized swimming pool with bands that, should have made it, could have, should have, would have, and all that stuff. Yet the likes of, Poison and Warrant and, some worthy and some very unworthy bands are the ones that made it.
Timing was everything.
Sure. Timing and just knowing the right people. And, we talked about Junkyard a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
In, say, 89 when that came out, I was listening to, I was a kid. And I was listening to, Warrant and Winger and fucking White Lion. But today, probably the first Junkyard album is probably one of the ones I listen to most from that area, from any band.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I love that album.
It's all about, for me, it's all about Junkyard and Rhino Bucket and Four Horsemen and Dangerous Toys. And
yep.
I can't remember the last time I actually willingly listened to a Warrant CD.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I listen to, you know what, though? I think those albums, I think the reason that we never go back to those, to what would be the big albums of that era, was that they were so overplayed. You just got to where you were sick and fucking tired of hearing Uncle Tom's Cabin or Cherry Pie or, any of that shit. To where Junkyard, you heard it once in a while. You might catch a video here and there on MTV, but for the most part, that shit, the only place you heard it was, in your car or at home.
I think there's something to that, actually.
Yeah. It just didn't get worn out. Now, I'm with you. I don't listen to any of the popular shit anymore. None of it. No Motley Crue, no Poison, no Warrant, none of that shit. But I'll listen to Junkyard 400 times a year. Love them.
Yeah, I have my exceptions to the rule. I'll still listen to Skid Row and I'll still listen to LA Guns and stuff like that. But, except for Skid Row, they weren't really all that popular either compared to the Poisons of the world.
Yeah, they were second tier.
With their top 10 singles and all that.
Yeah. And Skid Row was
it-
probably the biggest of the second-tier bands, but they were not in the first tier. They never were.
No, yeah, and as soon as the first album was over with, they immediately went about trying to distance themselves from it, which was, one of the best moves they could have made.
Yeah.
I mean, after Appetite for Destruction, probably Slave to the Grind was the the next album that really blew my doors off.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's definitely it's that one, and they followed it up strong, too, even though people didn't like it because it didn't have hits, but whatever the blue one was called.
I didn't like it all that much at the time. It had been so long, and people forgot about them.
Yeah.
And it was
that?
Here's a new Skid Row record. Oh, cool. And then where are the hooks? But I listen to that more now than I do the debut, just because, like you say, I've heard 18 in Life so many fucking times.
Yeah, don't care anymore. We get it.
Yeah, and it's just a totally different, and just the way it's produced and just the way the songs are, it just sounds totally dated.
Yeah, and you're 50. We don't want to know about the Youth Gone Wild anymore.
Yeah, well, I'm not 50, but...
Oh, Sebastian is.
Well, that's his problem, isn't it?
Well, he's the one singing it. That's my point.
But even at the ripe old age of 33, I would feel a little silly listening to Youth Gone Wild.
Or Big Guns. She's got the big guns. Does she?
An obvious reference to boobs, and much as I like boobs, that's kind of dumb.
Yeah, there it is.
Well, that's all I have on that philosophical topic.
All right, Doghouse. Are you still around, Neeley, or did you leave?
No, I'm just listening to you, Banner.
I think we put him to sleep.
Not at all.
Oh,
He says, well, when are we going to talk about Steel Panther again?
Steel Panther.
Steel Panther, Steel Piston.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck you, pal.
Well, speaking of Steel Panther,
Yeah.
that's fronted by Ralph Saenz,
Yes, it is.
who, by the way, was floating around out there on the Sunset Strip the same time that I was.
Really?
And I don't know if you're familiar with the guitarist Mitch Perry.
Yeah.
He's currently playing with Lita Ford.
Yeah, okay.
Well, he had a couple of bands out there with our boy Sean McNabb.
Mitch Perry did?
Yeah.
Okay.
One was called 7% Solution.
Heard of it, but I can't say that I know any songs.
And the other one was just called Bad Boys
Don't know that one.
with Paul Shortino.
Really?
And he tried to, this was Mitch Perry, Ralph Saenz, and our good friend Sean McNabb doing 7% Solution.
Okay.
And they too were shopping around looking for a record deal, and they got turned down by a bunch of different people.
No kidding.
So even they couldn't get a deal. So here's a little bit of this.
All right, let's hear that.
So here's our good friend Ralph Saenz, who now has found great success in Steel Panther,
Right.
but as an original project, couldn't get any interest. Let's check this out.
He's the man from the Oxford Bayou, west of the land. Just like an angel in a city full of crime. He's the one on the corner in every cool hangout. Even sells to the old man when the junior's not around. No, 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 after the world's announced it. Blow, 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 don't let it tickle your fancy. Keep away from the weird starter, yeah, yeah. He'll burn your soul, you know. Weird starter, yeah. Alright. Won't take no for an answer. He's got what you need.
So there's Ralph Saenz.
All right, so when your band was coming together, and I don't know enough about the history, you know, obviously all these singer guys that became famous were floating from band to band. Did you guys ever think about, maybe grabbing a Paul Shortino or Jizzy or somebody like that?
Well, Jizzy was already established with Love Hate.
Oh, okay.
And Ralph was out there. He was, he was my age, or actually he's a couple years younger than me, but he was floating around out there, and having Sean McNabb, who's been around forever, and he made his finally made his breakthrough when he joined Great White.
Right.
And he played with them, and obviously he's playing with Dokken now, but this guy's been around a long time. He played with Quiet Riot during the Paul Shortino era.
Right.
So he and Paul, have been tight for a long time.
Sure.
And, Paul had some success with Rough Cut, and, he made his sort of his debut way back in 1982 when he played that part in Spinal Tap.
Right.
He had that cameo in Spinal Tap, so he'd been around a long time too.
Yeah, no kidding.
So,
speaking of Paul, did you happen to see his snide post online either today or yesterday about Rough Cut?
No, I did not.
He put up some post somewhere about Rough Cut, and he said, "Hey, I saw that Rough Cut's playing the Monsters of Rock cruise. ... Don't know who'll be singing because it sure as fuck ain't me."
Really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he put up some just a little smart ass comment. I was like, Jesus.
Wow.
So it sounds like they're trying to reform without him.
I didn't hear that at all.
How could you have Rough Cut without Paul Shortino?
I mean, Rough Cut is Paul Shortino.
Yeah, he wrote all the songs. He wrote all the music.
Right.
He was Rough Cut.
Sure. Wow. Well, here's a little more of Ralph.
All right.
Yeah. If I give you the world, would you throw it all away? If I give you my heart, would you do it just the same? Well, I guess it's true what they say of you. How you turn and run away before that blue light hits my skin. There's something I've gotta say. I've seen it before, it happens all the time. Good love gone bad like a great morning vine, staring at the sun while it burns my eye. Believing in you is believing in life. Believing in life. Believing in life. Oh, you feel so good, even better when I'm high. Something about you I can't deny, my lady. I guess I'm crazy. When I know it's wrong, still I'm pushing kinda high for a little woman with a so-called heart. I'm lazy, or just damn crazy, yeah. I've seen it before.
Not really sure what the whole premise was behind that whole vocal style,
No, I don't know.
but Oni Logan did the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you listen to here, let me pull it up real quick. You hear the kind of that affect that Ralph throws on his voice there.
Mm-hmm.
Oni Logan did the exact same thing with the Lynch Mob.
Sure.
Let's listen to let's see here. Let's see, Lynch Mob. Where are we at here? There we go. Lynch Mob. He did that on River of Love. Listen to his vocal style and the affect he puts on his voice here. Same thing. Same about the same time, same year, everything. This was 1990.
All right.
Okay, listen to this.
That's right now. Let it bleed. When I was lonely and I was searching for the sun, you wanna go there.
see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They do that same thing, it's just kind of funny. Now listen to Ralph.
Where you going, no one knows. Your stone cold winter is my summer's glow.
See that? See what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. It's very similar.
It's very similar. But that again was another trend that certain singers were chasing or following.
Sure.
It was just kind of bizarre. So it was like that whole elongating certain vowels and things.
Right.
It's just kind of bizarre. So everybody just tries to, and I'll talk from experience. You try to manipulate your delivery to try to fit a certain trend at that time.
Right.
And that's what we did.
And just didn't play.
Yeah. So either sometimes you get lucky and you strike it, and sometimes you don't.
What I never get is how do the ones that kind of sucked make it? Like Kick Tracy.
Well, I don't know that Kick Tracy made it per se. They did have a popular, their debut release was popular, and that was it.
Yeah, but I mean, they had a lot of money behind them is what I never got.
Well, again, it was the record label who believed that they could push them off as to being, the next Motley Crue or the next, whatever.
Like the next Slaughter.
Yeah, something like that.
Was going to be Kick Tracy, and then it just didn't happen at all.
Right.
I mean, what was their hit? Do you even know? I don't even know.
Kick Tracy. Let me see if I got
Was it No Rules?
I think so.
No More Rules. I think that was them.
Let's see if I have I know they have their CDs.
Yeah. I know the Field Trip record was better, but I cannot. And again, I was out of the country for a lot of this stuff, so I don't really remember a lot of it.
Is it In Trance?
Maybe it's called In Trance, and the song was No Rules.
Let's try this one.
We might not even own it. That's not it. That's not it.
Not it, huh?
No, here it is. I just pulled it up.
Hail and Kill Caller, you're on the air.
I agree with Neeley. I wouldn't say Kick Tracy exactly made it. They were a footnote, but... And have you heard the whole first album, the whole No Rule CD, or just the song, just the two videos?
I have the album.
I have it right here in my hand. I got the CD in my hand right here.
Okay. It's not terrible. I can see where they try to do some things that are different. They kind of have some like Saigon Kick type harmonies there on some of the songs. But yeah, it suffers from the fact that Dana Strum produced it, and he tried to produce it just like a Slaughter album.
Well,
and the guy he kind of tries to sound like Axl at some point.
Yeah, I just remember listening to it and going, nah.
I think there are worse offenders out there, like Hurricane Alice.
Yeah, I
Lord
think
Tracy.
they were one and done too.
Lord Tracy.
Tear the house down, everybody rock, take it to the top, tear the house down. Just really trite bullshit lyrics. and
Well, that was the end of the era. I think everybody was just breathing their last breath.
yeah, it was the dregs of the coffee cup there.
That was it. The third tier.
Or what about Roxy Blue? Remember them?
Ugh, man, they were not good.
I actually have their.
At
CD.
least they had a shredder for a guitar player, but it was like L.A. Guns Jr.
I didn't like them at all.
Fucking FNA Records released 3 albums of theirs. One of them was like their unreleased second album, like We Needed One.
Right.
And then one of them was a live album that was basically a bootleg. And I mean, I've heard better bootlegs. This was like recorded on a handheld tape recorder or something. It sucked. And just because I liked a few songs from the debut, I actually checked it out. No. Did I buy it? No.
No.
Got it off of one of those sites.
That's what happens at the end of any run. You get a lot of shit bands.
Sure. And just, I mean, I am a lover of the up. I've come to realize that most of these bands are as big as they deserved. You know, there's always somebody that says, "Oh, they should have been big." You know what? Most of them shouldn't have.
Right.
Do you remember what the Roxy Blue CD was called?
Want some?
Want some?
Yeah.
Like, hey, you want some?
You want some of what I got?
Right.
Apparently, everybody said no.
And they sounded totally L.A., but they were actually from Memphis.
Right.
Now, Tora Tora, they were also from Memphis. Now, I like that band a lot.
Tora Tora?
Yeah, they were doing walking shoes.
Walking shoes, right? Yeah, I remember that song.
Well, I like the second album better. It's called Wild America. I think that was a pretty good record.
Yeah, I got all their CDs.
Is that the one with the looks like the side of an airplane?
It's got a red got a red
that's
cover on it.
The first album.
Yeah, I don't remember that. See, a lot of this I was out of the country for, so I don't remember these bands. I mean, I know of them, but I just don't. I just didn't have extended listening to it on the radio or whatever.
Sure. But, I mean, 91, 92, there was some gems to be found, but a lot of leftover cast-off shit.
Right.
Well, I got the...
What about South Gang?
No.
Their singer got a lot of popularity, though.
Who's their singer?
Yeah, just because their singer went on to have a trendy band for a minute.
Yeah.
Who's the singer?
Butch Walker.
Yeah, Butch Walker.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he did pretty well with his his more modern band as well as being a producer, I think.
Yeah.
And he wrote a book where he pretty much passed off the whole South Gang days. It was just, I was 18. What do you expect?
Well, he's probably right on that because it didn't go anywhere.
I checked out the book just to read the South Gang parts because I didn't really care about the rest. And, well, I'm sure, I have other obscure favorites from that time, but...
How about Rock's Gang?
Never got into them. I heard of them very long after the fact, but at the time, I'd never heard of them.
Things you've never done before?
One of those bands that everybody says was so great, but listening to them now, I can't see it.
I think they were out of Florida.
Yeah. I actually, when I was in college, I kind of dated for a while an older woman who actually had been the guitar player's boyfriend at one point before they made it.
Remember, scratch my back, giving me a heart attack.
She was like, you into hard rock? Yeah, did you ever hear of a band called, or I used to date a guy named Robert Strychnine Strine. She didn't say what band he was in, and then I saw it like months later. I was like, holy shit, she dated the guy in Rock's Gang.
Did that make you feel better or worse?
I couldn't figure it out exactly how it made me feel, to be honest with you. It was kind of interesting because I wanted, it was interesting because I might want to hear her stories, but then once I heard them, I maybe didn't want to hear them after all.
Right. And then you went and got yourself tested for AIDS.
She was long out of that point by that point.
Nice.
It was kind of new agey. She had some kind of store up there. It was like they sold crystals and shit. The store was called The Awakening Spirit.
Right.
Ew.
Weird.
Exactly.
Yeah, they were into Reiki and all kinds of shit like that.
To go up in her, you had to pull off 4 layers of Stevie Nicks dress.
That's all I have because the iPhone is acting fucking weird.
All right, Doghouse.
Fuck you, pal.
Well, here you go, Chris.
All right.
There's something going on here, deep inside of me. Some kind of sucker who can walk on water in a sea of tranquility. I'm getting free, and neither do you. No. You're under a move to make a motion.
Yeah, they stink.
Is that the one?
That's the one.
Let's kick Tracy. Don't need no rules, man.
Not good. You don't think that's good, do you?
No.
It's fucking terrible.
Isn't that one of the ones that critique from Brave Words and Bloody Knuckles? What's his name?
Martin Popoff?
Yeah, didn't he rate that really high?
Probably did.
I think he gave like the Kick Tracy records like high marks.
I'll have to look them up during the break because they're over in the other room. But yeah, I wouldn't doubt it because Martin is clearly always wrong.
Then we got some Rocks Gang here. You like this?
Let me hear. What was their hit? Did we really need more than one Bullet Boys? Good God.
That's Rocks Gang.
I do not like that.
How about this one? Sounds like a little Van Halen knockoff.
It's Van Phelan. Fuck is that?
That is Roxy Blue.
That Roxy blows. Fucking total ripoff. That's a total Van Halen ripoff.
A little Van Halen ripoff for you.
There's nothing little about it. He opened with Eruption, and then he went into fucking In the Cradle Will Rock.
Sure.
And just changed the name.
Right.
A little. God.
Well, whatever formula gets you in.
I guess. Jesus. It sucks. Dude, all those bands fucking... It's almost like if you fucking put a piece of paper on a copy machine and you went to make one copy, but you accidentally hit like 4 zeros behind it. You made 10,000.
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
Sure.
Every one of these is the same.
Look at Demon. Love this bizarre stuff.
Well, it is fucking bizarre, all right?
Yeah. My shelves are full of it.
And you forgot the SH. I'm full of shit. These bands all stink.
Well,
I'm with Doghouse. There's a reason that these bands made exactly as much success as they got.
right.
None of them were original. They all were just fucking copying a copy of a copy.
Right. Well, that's what the record labels wanted, though. They had a formula for success, and they just wanted to repeat it again and again and again, and it finally just petered out.
Yeah, it's like if you literally make a copy of a copy of a copy.
Right.
Keep making copies of the same shit, before long can't even tell what the fucking original was.
Sure.
You know, and that's what they've got there. Just a bunch of shitty bands.
Right.
Are these bands, I mean, you listen to this stuff. I don't. Are these bands good?
No. I mean, they're that was like third tier stuff.
I mean, do you pull them out every once in a while and listen to a whole album, or just a
no,
song?
I only have them, for the benefit of the show. That's it.
Yeah, it's been how many years since you listened to the whole Roxy Blue record?
Many years.
Jeez.
A lot of years.
Are there records up there that you've never listened to all the way through?
I would, yeah, there definitely. Oh yeah, definitely.
Are there records up there that you've only listened to 2 or less songs?
Yes.
Jeez.
Easily.
So literally you just saw them and you recognized the name from the 80s, so you grabbed it just for the catalog?
I did.
That's hilarious.
I did. Or that it contained a song or two that, way back in the day when, the show used to be, all music oriented, I used to get requests for it.
Sure.
So if I was like at a used CD store, which a lot of the CDs I have, came from a used CD store, I would pick it up if I saw it.
Right. See, because I just know me, when I used to go to the store and buy music that way, I would, first thing I would do is go home and listen to whatever I bought all the way through.
Right.
But it's funny, so you didn't do that.
No, I did it. I just did the grab for the show.
Oh, it's $1. I'll take it.
Basically, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Mm-hmm. But, people used to, when I used to do the show on WSTB, I used to get a lot of requests, a lot of phone requests, and hey, do you have this? Do you have that? Whatever. Mm-hmm. And if I didn't, and I went to, Digital Days or whatever and looked for it, and they had a big used CD bin over there.
Sure.
A lot of the time I would find it, and as you said, it would only be $1 or $2, and I would just like, okay, I'll pick that up.
It's got to piss you off now that you spend all that money on that shit. Now you could fucking just pull it up on Spotify and play it.
Well, but we are talking almost 20 years now, though.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying now you just boop and it's there.
Yeah. Well, I like that. I mean, I like the fact that it's that available to me.
Yeah.
I don't regret spending the money that I spent. I mean, I was building a legacy per se.
Right.
So, no, it doesn't bother me at all.
Wouldn't you like to see like the play numbers for like Rock's Gang or whatever? Roxy Blue?
Sure.
On Spotify,
it's
it'd be like 7. 10. And most of it would be the band finding their own shit.
Right.
I mean, who remembers Rock's Gang?
Yeah.
I honestly, until tonight, I don't think I've ever heard of Rock's Gang.
Well, Rock's Gang basically turned in, what they've had more success at
What?
as being the Mojo Gurus.
Oh, I remember them.
Yeah, that's Rock's gang. They just changed their name because they were doing that Christmas stuff.
Oh, okay.
The Mojo Gurus.
No kid. I did not know this.
Yeah, that's Rock's gang. And you know who else was in Rock's gang? Somebody that we actually like as a person, and is a pretty cool cat.
Who?
Stacy Blades.
Was in Rock's gang?
Yeah, he was in Rock's gang.
And I've interviewed him at least twice and have no idea.
Yeah, and he loves the CMS. I gave him one of the CMS shirts, a few years ago. Sure. That guy wore that shirt on stage many times. There's like pictures out there of him wearing that shirt.
That's awesome.
He loves it.
Well, that's probably the only shirt anybody ever gave him.
But Stacy, good dude. I like that guy.
Yeah, he's good. He wrote a book, didn't he?
Yeah, he's got a book out. I heard Ron Keel out there promoting it on his Streets of Rock and Roll.
Yeah.
So
Ron's got a book coming out too.
Yeah, he does. And speaking of Stacy, he's out there doing that whole Vegas thing where he's got something. What is it called? Something Rocks, RAWAK.
Ooh.
Stacy does. He's got a thing where he does with Sean McNabb. It's called Something Rocks.
Don't know.
And he's just basically it's basically a tribute band to a lot of the 80s stuff.
Dude, we got to get Sean on the show.
And he's got a show that they do mostly in Vegas. Vegas is like the new, the 80s Mecca over there.
Yeah. It's where everybody moved to, where they can't afford to live in L.A. anymore.
Right. But basically, Stacy's got a band over there that includes Sean McNabb and, of course, himself. And who else is involved with that? There's like 2 or 3 different guys who are involved in that, and they do like a bunch of 80s stuff.
Yeah.
And he's doing pretty well with it, apparently.
Well, that sounds cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to make it my mission this week to get Sean on the show.
That shouldn't be too difficult.
No, it should be a phone call. But, I've tried twice. I tried all during the fucking Suns season, and he was always busy.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about Suns. I don't even give a fuck about Dockin. I just want to talk about Suns.
Well, like I said, he's been busy with Stacy Blades doing that tribute show thing.
Well, I think we need to promote that heavily.
Yeah.
As well as finding out what's coming up in season 7 of Suns.
Right.
Which he won't tell us.
No, of course not. He probably doesn't even know himself.
Well, I mean, we were face to face with him while he was shooting, and he wouldn't tell us anything. So
can't talk about it.
And he's like, dude, I'll lose my gig.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, don't tell me.
Even though you don't have a speaking part, you get to at least show your mug on camera.
He did sit at the table, though. That was pretty fucking
He
cool.
did. I agree with you there.
That was pretty cool, watching that and seeing him sitting at the table on Suns.
Sure.
That was good shit.
Right. All right, I can tell you probably need a little bit of libation to
finish up. God, we've already done 5 hours?
Yeah, we got an hour and 7 minutes left.
Look at that. And my voice is still intact.
Yeah, look at. So I see our good friend Motorhead from Canada. He's been begging for some Motorhead.
No, fuck him. No Motorhead.
No Motorhead? What?
Let's go with Motorhead's evil, less successful brothers. Warrior Soul.
Oh, you like that better, huh?
I do, actually.
You got something in mind?
I do. Let's go on the Salutations from the Ghetto Nation record. Let's go with Punk and Belligerent.
Okay.
Then you can go Motorhead, but that's a good fucking fast punch you in the face song.
And since you like Corey Clark, since he was like a fucked up mess when you interviewed him.
Dude, he's always a fucked up mess, but I love those Warrior Soul records.
I do too. I agree.
He's solid, but he certainly wasn't solid in Trouble, though.
No.
Ooh, those were terrible shows.
See, I'm going to make the same statement about Corey Clark being in Trouble as I did with Jizzy with Quiet Riot. When you think of Trouble, you don't think of Corey Clark.
What I don't get is why the guys in Trouble keep thinking that they need to do that, because now they got Kyle Thomas from Exhorder.
Mm-hmm.
That's the singer. And I like Kyle, too. I loved him in Exhorder. I loved him in Floodgate. but he's horrible in Trouble.
Right.
That Trouble album sucked.
Right. All right, well, let's play a few tunes here, and we'll come back.
All right, sounds good.
Here it is. This is Warrior Soul exclusively here
on your Classic Metal Show.